Mark Hunter, the sales hunter. And hey, I want to talk to you about my biggest sales mistakes. Yeah, I'm going to share with you 9 of my biggest sales mistakes and kind of lessons you can learn from it. Yeah, it's going to reveal some of the ugly mistakes I made. Number 1, not taking notes. Hey, I remember several times, and this happens more times than not, I failed to put into my CRM system comments and things that the customer says, or maybe I write it down on a scratch pad, or maybe I don't even write it down at all and I'll get it in later, and I don't. And then I find myself coming back later, asking the same questions. You know, this happened to me once, I remember years ago, probably 30 years ago this happened to me. And I thought I would learn, and yet I've still caught myself doing it, not taking notes and not getting the notes into the CRM. Number 2, selling after the customer said yes. I got to call out a very specific time, Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm relatively new in sales and I'm calling on an account in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I got the customer, difficult customer. He said, yes, yes. And then I kept talking. And I literally talked him out of buying from me. Why? Because I was talking about all kinds of stuff and it got him thinking, well, maybe he rushed too quickly to make a decision and he chose not to buy. When the customer says yes, stop selling, get the order, move on. Number 3, getting decision makers mixed up. Oh, this happened to me in Omaha about 20 years ago. Great account, I'm going in and I've met with some of the people and I've jotted down their names. I thought I'd jotted down their names and what they did, and then a few weeks later I was back in meeting with them again and I got them mixed up. And I began thinking that this was the decision maker, no, it was that person. And before I knew it, I was totally confused. I was able to save the deal, but boy, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing because I was getting decision makers mixed up. You got to be clear, who are the decision makers, and remain focused on them. Number 4, not believing my own price. Oh, Portland, Oregon. Call this one out. New in sales. And I thought our prices were way too high. I just thought our prices were, and I didn't believe in our prices. And as a result, my sales were terrible. They were terrible. They were terrible. And I remember getting called out by my boss. You're not making your numbers. Well, our prices do. And he says, hold it. Why is everyone else able to sell? Why is everyone else able to make sales at that same price? And I wasn't. It purely came down to that I was not believing my price. It's not the price, it's the outcome you create. And that's what those other salespeople were believing. Next one, putting things off. Oh, man. This really inflicted me a lot mid-career in my life. I was getting busy, and go back about 20 years ago. I was getting busy selling, and I said, well, I'll get to that, and I'll get to it after lunch. And after lunch, something would come along and I wouldn't get it done. And I would never wind up getting those calls made. And as a result, the calls got made a day later, a week later, a month later, and I lost sales. In fact, one time in particular, I remember I had a great opportunity and the customer said, hey, keep in touch. Well, keep in touch to me was, well, I'll reach back out to them in a few weeks. Keep in touch to that person meant like every couple of days. And I didn't. And as a result of me putting things off, I lost that opportunity. Next one, not asking for the order. How many times, again, this goes back to Portland, Oregon, and I still remember the exact situation. I walked into a customer and I was excited, and the customer, for some reason, got off on some sort of a tangent with me on a previous order, something of that nature. And I never got around to asking for the order. And I left. And I remember I left and I wasn't going to be back to be able to meet with that customer again for another month. And it was a whole month went by before I was able to come back physically because of the geography of Oregon, the state of Oregon, that I was able to get back in there to get that order. See, I didn't ask for the order when I should have. Yeah. Here's one. Allowing customers to push me around. You know, we all want to play customer service. There's so many examples I could share on this. Customers, they want to ask you for this, they want to ask you for this. I remember one customer in particular, New Jersey. I'm selling in New Jersey, great customer. And the customer always would just ask me for one more thing. And I would give in, and I would give in. And I remember having this conversation with my boss one time. And I said, I can't believe it, but he says, you're falling for it. You're falling for it. You're allowing the customer to push you around. Here's what we deliver. Here's how we deliver it. Here's the terms we deliver it. And that's it. Don't allow them to create exceptions just for you, because you are creating havoc on our shipping, on our distribution, on our customer service team, because of the exceptions you're trying to make. Don't. Next one, failing to stay in touch. Oh man. You know, I talk a lot about how you don't close a deal, but you open a relationship. And I had to convince myself that. It's how I came up, because it was the only way, because I would fail to stay in touch with. I'd close a sale, and then I move on. I was spending all my time trying to get the next deal, that I wasn't realizing the potential of the business with existing customer. And I was failing to stay in touch. And over the years, I have lost tremendous amount of business of failing to stay in touch. My good friend Meredith Elliott Powell always says that the sale is made in the follow-up. And the follow-up includes after you've made the sale. Yeah. And the last one I'll share with you is thinking I can wing it. Oh, man. Houston, Texas. Again, another customer I was going in on. Had been busy. And I just didn't have time to prepare. And I thought I could wing it, because I was good. I knew my stuff. And I fell all over myself. And I missed the opportunity on a big, giant order with a major account, because I thought I could wing it. Don't. Hey, those were just some of my biggest sales mistakes. I have a feeling that those are very similar to yours. Hey, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Go back, watch this video again. Zero in on one or two. Ask yourself, is this me? You know, it's not making the mistakes that matter. It's making the mistakes twice. And if we can learn from other people, we do ourselves a favor. Hey, I want you to check out all my videos, check out all the content. Have you checked out my podcast, the Sales Center podcast, Sales Logic? Check them out. They're there. I want to provide you with content so you don't make the biggest sales mistakes. I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Center. Great selling.